All right, guys, we got our first guest of the day ready, and we're going to bring in Leroy after a quick word from Mazda, brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. What's up, Leroy? How you doing today?
Leroy.
You got Guardians fever too, don't you, bro?
I keep an eye on it. I remember I used to go to those games. Me and Kenny Lofton used to exchange season tickets because we had the same agent. Nice. And I found it just wanted to just go into a 1:00 game, sitting in that stadium with hardly nobody there and enjoying baseball was cool, and then go into the locker room afterwards and tell them how soft they were.
And you weren't wrong.
You told Kenny Lofton he was soft, huh?
Yeah, and keep in mind, I've known Albert Bell since he was in college.
Wow.
Because when I originally went to college,
guy.
I was going to play baseball. I was going to play baseball too. So
wow. So what was Albert like as in college? Was he as crazy as he was in?
He was Joey Bell then.
Joey Bell, right?
Yes. Well, what I would say is this: everybody thinks quiet is crazy, right? Because you just don't know.
Yeah.
And it's actually, when somebody's quiet, it's our ignorance that we're portraying on them.
Okay,
it's
fair
not
enough.
them. So he was just probably one of those guys that, in the circle, he was cool, but wasn't like as outgoing as somebody else, Like, everybody can't be Ricky Henderson. You know what I mean? Everybody can't have that personality. There's other guys that just are great at what they do, but they don't have that personality.
Did you ever hear the Ricky Henderson story when John Olerud was on first base? And John used to wear the helmet
in the field.
Yes. And John was on first base and he was leading off, Ricky was on first base. Yeah. And he told Olerud, who was wearing a helmet in the field, "Man, I used to play with a guy that wore a helmet in the field." And Olerud said, "Ricky, that was me." Ricky didn't even know that was his teammate.
All the stories that I've heard about him, most of them are not remembering his teammates.
I got another real quick Ricky Henderson story that you'll appreciate. I don't remember the exact numbers, but Ricky Henderson obviously led the American League in stolen bases almost every year he played, right? But there was one year, I think he missed part of the season, he got hurt, and he would steal like 100, 120, whatever. And the one year he missed some time, he still, I think, finished second in steals.
Might have been Lofton that
No, but it was Harold Reynolds. Because Harold Reynolds told the story. And Harold Reynolds, I think, finished with like 60 steals to lead the league. And Ricky still barely played and had like 57 or something. And the second the season was over, Harold Reynolds was like, "I'm at my house. I get a call." And Harold goes, "Harold, this is Ricky Henderson here." I don't know what accent I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And he goes, "You should be embarrassed. Winning the stolen base title with only 60 steals?"
That's great. That is very Ricky. Remember when he broke Lou Brock's record?
Yeah.
He pulled third base out,
yeah.
And he held it up, and he said something like Lou Brock was used to be the greatest of all time, but today Ricky Henderson is the greatest of all time.
Ricky Henderson is the greatest of all time.
He was the greatest soundbite of all time, for sure.
I had to start.
He was one of the people that used. He was one of the OGs using his name in the third person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he started it. I think he did it before Bo Jackson and everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you know Bo well, Leroy?
A little bit. He was a guy who wasn't like, his personality came over a period of time. Yeah. He wasn't that talkative early on.
He stuttered as a child, and he said it made him extremely insecure, and he wasn't very outgoing.
I always thought he could be a Hall of Famer in either sport. If he had only played one and stayed healthy, he would have been a Hall of Famer in either, I think.
Yep, I agree with that.
He was what I like to refer to as a black redneck.
He was.
I am familiar.
Hunter.
Yeah, the reason why I know it is because my dad was from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and when we would go visit, they would say, "We go into the country." Oh. And that's when I realized I was city folk. 'Cause some of the things hey, you go to the porch back in the woods with the string light outside, and they have like animal skins on the porch, and I'm like, no, this is not for me. Y'all want something to eat? I was like, no, I do not. I don't know what y'all cooking, right?
I get my food at the grocery store.
And they always said this, which steered me away from everything they cook. Tastes like chicken. Yeah. When somebody say that, I'm like, how about I just have a piece of chicken? Yeah. Like, I don't need to taste like.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so good.
Speaking of cooking, Leroy, let's get to the Browns.
Hey.
Quinshon Judkins, he was cooking.
Yeah, my emotions in the last 2 weeks have been on two different extremes. Look, against the Ravens, sometimes in life, and sports is no different. Sometimes you get up against it where either the other team has the ball for a long period of time, and then you feel a sense of urgency as an offense, and then you start pressing, and then you start making mistakes, and you get on the other side of that trouble, and you can't get rid of it. That's what happened against Baltimore. Like, it was like, no matter what we do, we make a mistake, and now it's a landslide, right? So, but then the following week against Green Bay, the whole time I was like, hey, man, it's only 10 points. They're not out of this. All you need is a sustained drive. They did an excellent job of running the football. At times I wish let's see how much they can take. At times I wish they could have ran it even more. But they did a fine job of running the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of what you do when you have Micah on the other side, right? If you don't want Micah to rush the passer, right, then you run the football and run it at him and do stuff like that. That's what they've done over a period of time. The difference is Green Bay can usually score, so they put you behind it and make you have to force to try to push the ball down the field a little bit. But that never happened. At the end of that game, and Jay can attest to this.
I'm watching the text game right now from you.
I'm watching the game.
So hard, brother.
I'm watching the game. They line up for the field goal, and I'm like, what a terrible way to lose. All this fighting back you did, this is terrible. Block the punt. Oh, no. So they blocked the field goal. And now I'm like, take a knee. Listen, let's take a knee, regroup, let's go into overtime, because I don't want Flacco to Flacco at this moment, right? So I'm texting Jay. Jay, just take a knee.
He literally said, everything that can happen here is bad.
Right.
And then 30 seconds later, never mind. Geez, what a rock fight. You're in the same stage of grief as I am as a Browns fan.
Dude, my emotions with this team are like, I didn't have these emotions when I played. It's the craziest thing. Because in the back of your mind, tell me if I'm wrong, in the back of your mind, there's always those Joe Flacco moments.
Oh, yeah. You don't know whether in the front of my mind.
You don't know whether he's going to throw for 500 or throw 3 picks. If he throw for 500, he's going to look like the best quarterback in the league. And if he throw 3 picks, you're going to just throw your hands up and go, what just happened? And so I was like, let's just go in overtime. Usually, it's okay to go in overtime with your home team, right?
Yeah.
And by the time I texted it out and got all the stuff out and got my mind right and was telling Jay, oh my goodness, please, please, please. Couple of plays, field goal, game over. And it was less than 5 minutes. I'm like, what? Being a fan sucks. This sucks.
Did you have to decompress? I had to decompress for like 20 minutes after the game. I had to sit there and literally think, what the hell did I just watch? How did that happen?
And you know what the crazy thing is? It happened 3 more times in football that weekend.
Yeah, within minutes.
Right.
Within minutes.
Right, within minutes.
Tampa Bay got
their
kick blocked.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. All to win games.
Right. And so, like, I know the Browns need to improve their pass game. Right? But for them to actually be competitive every week, I just think they need to control the line of scrimmage offensively and try to do that, because at this point the only thing that puts you in, gets you in trouble, are turnovers, because they have shown from the defensive side of the ball and the offensive line they can compete with anybody, right? The only thing that hurts you are the penalties and the turnovers. So I don't know how, it's boring football, right? But that's kind of where you are right now. And I'm a firm believer, win the game that's in front of you. Don't try to win the game a certain way. Just win the game that, like, who would have ever thought that one of the most potent offenses in the league that runs the ball, passes the ball, quarterback gets it downfield, right? You're going to be involved in a rock fight. You're going to be involved in a physical Cleveland, almost January football game. Mm-hmm. It happens. You got to be able to win these games. So I was highly impressed at just overall how, one, that defense stopped that offense, and two, how the offense was able to do just enough to have a chance at the end, and then took advantage of that opportunity at the end to win a football game. That's a good football team over there. So I step away from this saying, okay, now we've proven we can beat the best. Now let's get better at what we do so that we can win games in a number of different ways. Because I don't think this style of football is sustainable, although the Eagles have proven that they could do it, but they just have a quarterback that if he needs to make a play, he can make a play. So whether you use him or not is not an issue. So, I was very impressed with, one, how they stayed with it, right? How many of you guys looked at it and say, this is terrible. Oh. They can't do nothing. And then next thing you know, it's a tie game.
They had 10 points with 12 yards of offense.
Right. The fact that they were able to
That's exactly like the Guardians.
It's crazy.
The fact that they were able to stay with it, right, and still have something at the end and put forth that effort to get it done, because it's easy in those situations to get frustrated and quit. It's so easy. And everybody would have said, oh, well, you kept it close. They kept it close. We thought they were going to get blown out, right? But no, they fought through it and won the game. So kudos to them. It was very impressive, even though the game itself wasn't that aesthetically pleasing. But if you're in Cleveland, that's great. That was a great football game if you watch football in Cleveland.
All right, so let's talk a little about Flacco. How much longer will he start?
I think I put on my radio show in Miami, I said Flacco is the equivalent, if you're a baseball fan, a bullpen game. Right? We're going to go do a bullpen game. He going to come in and he might be able to do some long relief. He might be able to close a game, but he can't start, right? And because his overall record is not going to show how much he's contributing. And Flacco, I say we had another guy like that too, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston and Flacco going to give you 4 or 5 of the greatest weeks of football you have ever seen, right? 300, 400 yards, no picks, 3 touchdowns, just throwing the ball all over the place. But it's those other weeks. So is he the most reliable quarterback that the Browns have? Absolutely. I'm not even is it time to go with somebody? No. But I'm wondering if it's a situation where, because he's a little bit older, right, it wears on him a little bit. So I don't know how to go about that, but I know that based on this roster, Joe Flacco is your most reliable quarterback.
But how do we know that when the other guys haven't played, Leroy? And because couldn't Joe just be shot? I get what you're saying about Joe in the past is completely accurate, but he hasn't given any great games yet. Maybe he just doesn't have any more left in him at this point.
It's possible because you know what? I learned a long time ago, like, besides the 72 Dolphins, Father Time is undefeated. You can't win. You can't win. And all these guys that try to, play long, it hits you.
Well, throw Tom Brady in there, too. Brady won at 46.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay. Listen, there are exceptions to the rule. But why are we trying to make that the norm? You see what I mean?
That's right.
Brady was an exception to the rule. LeBron James is an exception to the rule. Stop thinking your guy could do that.
That's right.
If everybody could do it, then there would be no Tom Brady. It would be the norm. That guy was something different. So for everybody to think, now we can get our 40-year-old quarterback to just give us one more year? Silly humans. Like, come on. Right? You see they already benched Russell Wilson. He ain't even
30.
40.
Yeah.
No,
He's 30, what, 37?
No, he's younger than that.
No, he's
Russell
not.
Wilson.
Yes.
37.
I don't think so.
He's 36. Turns 37.
Okay.
in
36.
November.
I was going to say 35.
Wait, okay, 36. 36.
From 37.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. Yeah, man.
By the way, that's the right move in New York because I don't think they have the defense that the Browns have. And the fan base in New York is usually as vitriolic as a fan base can be. And I know we have a pretty vociferous fan base, but I thought they were going to storm the field on the Monday night game. They were done with Russell Wilson.
Hey, that's the energy we need. I need that energy.
We need storm the field energy.
I need storming fields, bro. I go back and watch the All-22, and the thing that dawns on me is they are playing a bunch of man. They playing man-to-man coverage, and they sitting on everything short. They're the high-low concepts, Leroy. You watch the Ravens, they're jumping them routes. You watch the last game against the Packers. It's almost like they know what's coming. They jump in everything. And it's tough because you don't really have guys on the outside. The only guy that can really win one-on-one outside is Judy. But then you got your tackles that are getting beat. And it's 2.5 seconds, right? So some of it, I go back and look, and I'm not the biggest Flacco fan, but as I looked at it, I had to say, it's not necessarily all Flacco. Would I still make the change? Yes, I would. But they got a couple of things where it's the tackles. You can't, you're getting pressure in your face. You can't look downfield. And then, Joe is a little skittish at this point because I think Coach Stefanski is hammering what you said. We can't turn it over. Don't turn it over. Don't turn it over. So his first natural progression is, dump it off. Dump it off.
Safest pass possible.
How can you manufacture yards with some of those deficiencies when the offensive line, you have some things with guys not being able to win?
Quinshon Judkins.
And so how you go about getting points?
If you run the ball and continue to put pressure on the defense that way, they got to commit more guys to the run. Okay, when you commit more guys to the run, and then you got guys jumping those short routes, if they're paying attention to the run, now you got a chance for play action. Okay, that gives you a chance for a double move. That gives you a chance for some separation, and it gives with the play action fakes, it gives the receivers and Flacco more time to get down the field, right? To just drop back and kind of run a route or route combination and then try to throw it deep that way, you're almost putting yourself at a disadvantage because of how the protection has been and because how the separation has been, and they're jumping those short routes. But in order to get a ball deep, a deep crossing route, a deep go route or whatever, you're running the football the way you've been running it, okay? You do that play action, and then you combine it with a slant and go or something like that because
that's how you open it up.
And then you go. That's just how you have to do it. You have to create a play that creates separation for your receiver.
There it is.
Because the defense is jumping all these short routes.
From what you've seen, is Judkins the guy? Is he real?
Yes.
I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they have a nice combination But what I would say is this. Right now, at this point in time, he needs to make an early impact on the game so that you can do other things to free up other guys on the team. You see what I mean? So if he's in there running the football and he's running at 4 or 5 yards a clip and he's breaking a couple and they got to commit more to the run, that helps out the receivers. That helps out Joe Flacco. Because when Joe Flacco stick that ball out, right, and they see that downhill run, you know them DBs, linebackers, everybody going to try to stop Judkins. Boom, pop one over the top.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of how you have to play through your strengths. Their strengths on offense right now is their ability to run the football. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to go play action, right? Because here's the advantage that the Browns have that a lot of teams don't have. On first down, they very rarely have 2nd and 12. That's it. There's nothing wrong with 2nd and 7. Because you know what I tell people? Hey, what's 3 times 4? 12 yards. Sound like a first down to me. So, like, if you can be good on first down and you can always be ahead of the chains on first down, which a lot of teams aren't, then you have the ability to open up your playbook a little bit more, unlike a lot of teams who throw them little bubble screens and do all this stuff. It's just like a run. Yeah, just like chicken, right? No. That if somebody says to me again, you want to have a problem with me? Somebody say, oh, that bubble screen is just like an outside run. No, it is not. Because an outside run don't usually end up 2nd and 13. But that bubble screen ends up 2nd and 13.
Leroy, let's wrap it up with this. The 2 rookies on defense, including your Michigan guy, Mason Graham, and then Carson Schlesinger. To us, they've looked great. What say to you through 3 games?
I would say one of the things that I'm impressed with as far as how they have acclimated themselves to the league is, and if you know they're doing a good job, is look at how Myles Garrett is playing.
Yep.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
In years past, they could concentrate on Myles Garrett, double team, triple team him, and nobody else was making a play. Now, you got these guys at linebacker and other D linemen that are forcing you to pay attention to them because they are making plays. And, oh, by the way, now you're singling up Myles Garrett, who has basically been doing whatever he wants on the defensive side of the ball. So that's how I look at how the complementary pieces have worked on defense. Not necessarily by the production that they have, but the production that your star has. Because he's on pace to just be unbelievable this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Leroy, good stuff as always, man. We appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us.
Right now.
All right, now.
See you, Leroy.